Tonight on the MTN News, a pay bump that's drawing attention. The city's top paid employee could be getting a raise.
This is only the employment agreement that's on the agenda tonight is only me. I'm the council's one employee.
After months of delays tied to a water bill audit, city leaders are finally taking it up.
A bizarre animal attack with a powerful ending. Retired Billings doctor trampled by her own bison.
Thinking, what do you do if a grizzly bear attacks you? You play dead. So I figured I better just play dead.
Tonight, how she survived and the trauma team that raced to her rescue.
And ever dreamed of meeting your favorite sports star? How they're making a big impact in a small town.
Cancer's so expensive and it takes a lot.
A star-studded charity event is returning to Cody, and you're invited.
The MTN 530 News starts right now.
From Montana's news leader, this is the MTN 530 News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Andrea Lutz.
And I'm Russ Riesinger. After months of delays surrounding a water bill audit, the city council is taking up a new item tonight, a pay raise for the city's highest paid employee, city administrator Chris Kukulski.
Well, the proposal comes as some residents question the timing and transparency of the water issue, while Kukulski argues his salary falls short compared to cities of smaller size.
Hannah Pettiferi has the details.
Visit just about any city in Montana, and the city administrator is the highest paid employee on staff. Billings is no exception.
It's a pleasure to get to serve in this capacity.
City Administrator Chris Kukulski has worked here for 6 years and currently receives a base salary of $212,000 a year. But this week, that salary is front and center as City Council considers his request for a raise.
I've made a request that going forward, there would be a cost of living increase of 3% each July 1.
The conversation is long overdue. Back in November, City Council held off on approving a raise, choosing to wait until an audit of the city's utility billing system was complete. At that time, many residents had questions about water bills, prompting an audit which found no major discrepancies.
The audit also acknowledged that there were individual errors, but that the city had dealt with those.
Fast forward to today, and discussion of Kukulski's salary is finally back on the table.
If they were to approve the 3%, I mean, it increases the cost to the city by about $6,500 for next year.
Kukulski is seeking a 3% increase, right in alignment with the 3% cost of living increases he received in 2021, 2022, and 2023. This current fiscal year, 2024, would be the exception.
Chris suggested that he not be given any pay increase for the last year, from July 1 of 2024 to June 30th of 2025. Chris has been very straightforward in acknowledging that he is ultimately responsible for the problems in the billing software.
That said, Mayor Cole says Kukulski has served Billings well, and the city administrator is making less than his counterparts in cities with a much smaller population, such as Bozeman and Casper, Wyoming.
He's helped build a respectful, productive relationship with our unions and with about 1,000 city employees.
Regardless, it's a big decision for council Tuesday night after a challenging year for the city.
This is only the employment agreement that's on the agenda tonight is only me. I'm the council's one employee.
In Billings, Hannah Pettiferi, MTN News.
Tonight, one person is facing charges, and we've learned a lot of new information about the murder of a man who was found stabbed to death in an alleyway on Billings South Side earlier this month. Violet Janie Littlelight is facing felony charges of deliberate homicide and tampering with or fabricating physical evidence in the death of Keith Troy Breckenridge, a former hardened firefighter. Littlelight was arrested after Breckenridge's phone pinged on the Crow Reservation and his pickup was found at a residence there. Littlelight stated she'd known the victim her entire life and would occasionally exchange sexual favors for money or alcohol with him. According to court records, Littlelight brought two unidentified acquaintances with her who she says she knew planned to rob Breckenridge, but she stated she did not know why they stabbed him. The crime remains under investigation.
Tonight, another tragedy on Airport Road. Billings police are investigating a deadly motorcycle crash near the North 27th Street roundabout. A woman is dead, another person seriously hurt. Family confirms the victim was a passenger on the bike. It's the second deadly crash on that stretch of road this month. Just weeks ago, teenage sisters Alicia and Alexa Half were killed in a separate crash east of the same roundabout. 2 others were injured in that crash.
Tonight, an incredible story of survival. A former Billings doctor trampled by her own bison and lives to tell about it.
The retired doctor was nearly killed by her own herd while walking her dog on a ranch. But what happened next is a powerful story of survival, strength, and a trauma team she once called colleagues.
Our Matt Carmack has the story.
Chris Spangen has 1,600 acres of beautiful land.
I just like trekking around out here too.
Her ranch west of Billings is the perfect place for her fast-paced life. Chris loves to fish, hunt, and raise animals.
That's right. That's right. I'm a fly angler and a bird hunter, and also do a little big game hunting.
But it was here on her ranch on a snowy Sunday morning in January when her life was literally flipped upside down.
It happened so fast. I'm not sure how it all started, but I ended up on the ground, face down, and looked for my phone.
On that fateful day, Chris was on her daily walk with her 3 English setters. Her eldest dog stepped into bison territory and the animal attacked.
At that point, I just laid there and I knew I better just not move at all. And just thinking, what do you do if a grizzly bear attacks you? You play dead. So I figured I better just play dead.
After the attack, Chris tried to crawl away, but was attacked yet again by 2 bison. She was left with broken ribs, broken vertebrae, a split lip, a gash on her leg, and a dislocated shoulder. Chris was transported here to the Intermountain Health Emergency Department, where she encountered quite a few familiar faces.
And I remember Barry going, "Hey, Chris, it's Barry."
Chris was rushed into surgery, operated on by her former colleague, Dr. Barry McKenzie.
I have to admit, yeah, there was definitely a little bit more pressure to be able to go with that, and she added her comments too.
And believe it or not, Dr. Spangen even shared her own opinions about how to perform the surgery before being given anesthesia. Regardless, it worked.
It's very important to feel comfortable with your caregivers, which I did.
Chris credits collaboration from the team at St. Vincent's with her recovery. Because of the severity of her injuries, getting back to full health is easier said than done.
It takes longer than you think.
But Dr. Spangen is just happy to be alive, back on the road to recovery.
That's why we do what we do, to try to get you back to your life after probably one of the worst things, if not the worst thing that is probably going to happen to you.
In Yellowstone County, Matt Carmack, MTN News.
We thought we'd take a little trip around the state, starting over in Miles City, where we've got sunshine and warming up to 72 right now. Just a little bit of an east breeze around the region. Here's a look over towards Bozeman. At least I hope it'll come up here. A northwest wind at 15 miles per hour at 73 degrees. Okay, I'll leave that to your imagination. Just think about Bozeman. Okay, let's move on over. Oh, we got a live look here from Helena. We're at 77 degrees, but the wind's starting to gust. We're seeing some shower and thunderstorm activity to the west of Billings start to influence the weather there. And finally, a live look with the Stockman Bank weather cam here in Billings at 74. We've had some storms moving by. Right now, just a little bit of an east breeze. We've got a lot of weather to talk about. The forecast details coming up.
Governor Gov Gianforte vetoed a pair of health care related bills. It's the latest legislation he's rejected, citing budget concerns. Senate Bill 72 would have made it quicker for older Montanans and those with disabilities to receive Medicaid benefits for home and community-based services. Senate Bill 244 would have required state employee health plans to cover behavioral health screenings with no out-of-pocket cost. Both bills were sponsored by Republican Senator Mike Yakowicz of Billings. Gianforte said in his letters announcing the vetoes that he is committed to ensuring access to quality care, but the benefits of these bills were not worth the potential costs. Both of these bills passed with more than 2/3 support in the House and Senate. That means lawmakers will have an opportunity to vote by mail on whether to enact them into law despite the vetoes.
The price of housing is skyrocketing in many places in Montana, and Livingston is no exception. The HRDC's efforts to preserve housing have expanded as they cut the ribbon on new renovations at Summit Place Apartments. Our Heaven Vaughn has more on how it's expected to impact housing access in the area.
Tucked away in a quiet Livingston neighborhood by Highway 10 are the HRDC's Summit Place Apartments, offering affordable, safe housing options for people with mental disabilities.
It creates a harmonious and a very equal, balanced community when you can take care of all of the demographics of people in your community.
Leslie Fagel is the CEO of Livingston's Chamber of Commerce. She says that housing continues to be limited.
You know, anytime that we can grow just even one more unit, that's a win for our community.
Summit Place Apartments was acquired by the HRDC in the 90s from Gallatin Mental Health in efforts to preserve the existing housing. HRDC's president and CEO, Heather Grenier, says that after 30 years, the property was in need of renovations, which included the remodeling of a laundry space into an 8th additional unit.
We've completely gutted the units, redid all the flooring, new appliances, redid the bathrooms. We're able to upgrade things and gain a unit in the process.
Grenier explains that preserving the property has also preserved the subsidy that allows individuals with mental disabilities to obtain housing at a cost that works for them.
So the way the subsidy works is they try to make the rent affordable. So it's based on their income. So they pay 30% of their income towards that rent.
The subsidy pays for the remaining cost of rent, a benefit Grenier says is vital for people suffering with mental disabilities.
People who are suffering from severe mental disabilities struggle to gain employment, maintain employment, often without the appropriate care and training. And so this, the first and most important part of stabilizing anyone in that space is having a home.
In Livingston, Heaven Van, MTN News.